Hey everyone, this is Jennifer with DP Addiction Adventures and welcome to another Tipsy Tuesday. What are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about how to choose which size painting to order. That was something that I struggled with when I first started diamond painting. So when I first started diamond painting, I chose a tree. I'm going to put in that photo right here. I got sucked in by a Facebook app. I didn't know what diamond painting was. I didn't even know what sizing was. I didn't know that there was centimeters and inches and 30 by 40 and 40 by 50 and 30 by 30 and square and rectangle. And did you know they have round diamond paintings now? That's coming up in an unboxing in the future. But I did not know. So I wanted to share with you some tips. The first tip is centimeters and inches. So what exactly does that mean? Now, most of the companies will show centimeters. Some of the companies have transitioned as Americans have purchased more diamond paintings and it's become the rave to centimeters and inches displayed and some just inches. I still prefer to go back to centimeters because that's how my brain taught itself when I first started diamond painting. However, how does that translate into a frame and how I'm going to put it up on my wall or put it in a portfolio? How do I do that? So I recommend that you know how to Google. So if you can see here, there's a centimeter to inches and you're able to Google 40 centimeters equals 15.7 blah, 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 blah inches, which translates into 16 inches when you're talking about framing. And so I could put in 30 here and it would be roughly 11 point something, which is 12 inches. I could put in 50 centimeters here and that would tell me that it's roughly 18 inches. Or you can go backwards. You can put in the inches here to get centimeters and vice versa. So that's tip number one, is to know the difference and how to research. There's times I've been in Michael's when I'm trying to pick a frame and I literally in my phone put into the internet browser centimeters to inches and then start plugging it in. People are probably like, what in the world is she talking about? So I just wanted to point that out. And that's tip number one, is knowing how to use a centimeter to inch converter and vice versa, because that will help you down the road. So that's tip number one. Tip number two is choosing between fitting to a frame or fitting to a design. And what I mean by that is if you got a frame, right? And this frame, I believe, is a 9-inch by 12-inch. Let me just double check. I think it says on the back. No, it does not. Anyway, so if I had this frame just sitting around, or I knew that this frame behind me fit perfectly in my space, then I would go searching for a diamond painting to fit the frame size. Or if I found a picture that I absolutely loved and I wanted to choose that picture with the best details, the best quality, and then backtrack and frame it once I was done. So when you're searching for a diamond painting and the sizing, that needs to be in your mind. Am I searching for a design that's going to match my frame size that I have in mind? Or am I searching for a design where I need to pay attention to details and whatnot and then put the frame to that when I'm finished? So that's tip number two, is choosing between fitting frame to a frame or fitting to your design options. Tip number three, not two, three, is how to choose a size. This is the meat and potatoes, the root of what I want to get at. And then we're going to go into, do I choose square or round? And then we're going to go into how do I experiment without losing my mind or my money. So those are like the next couple tips, but let's dive into choosing the size, okay? So first off, this is what I've learned through my unboxings, through my reveals, exactly how to pinpoint what works best. So if you're looking for something that doesn't have many details in it, okay, you're going to be able to go smaller. So even though it has some like brush strokes back here, it's okay if those are pixelated, because what you have to remember is that diamond painting is all these like hundreds of dots that are collectively coming together as a team to make a full picture. And so you need to know how many players you need to have to make up your team. Otherwise it's going to get distorted, and there's going to be that like I said, distortion, pixelation. It's not going to come out, and you're going to spend all this time and energy, and you're not going to find that calmness you're looking for. And at the end, you're going to go, I wasted money, I wasted time, and now I'm not proud of it, right? Even though you did put in a lot of hard work. So when you're looking for something smaller, because you might have a smaller frame, a smaller place, to put it, you can look for things that don't have as much detail, or the detail doesn't matter. Like everybody knows what a sunflower looks like. So if the detail is not there as much, the mind is going to fill in that, automatically fill that into your mind. Another thing is if it's cartoony. So you see Disney characters, you see Minions, different things like that. So this is Dopey, right? He's more of a cartoon. A cartoon is okay if it's distorted, or okay if it doesn't have a lot of detail. So I'm going to remove the cover. And you can see here, you know, because I don't have the diamonds placed, it's going to look a little bit pixelated, but you can see here that you can see his face, his hat, his little lamp, his shoes. You can even see some of the wrinkles that are in the picture. And then back here, it's kind of variegated. So yeah, so you can definitely choose something cartoony for smaller frames. Of course, as soon as I go live on a video, my nose starts to itch. So then one of the mistakes I made is I wanted to get a butterfly tree for one of my friends. Now on camera, it doesn't look so bad. This is what happens. This will be a tip when you don't fix a river. So stay tuned for some more Tipsy Tuesdays, because it does show in your thing. But if I were to show you, you can see that those, there's not room for that team, those dots, to make the impressions I wanted them to make. And so even, it just turned out distorted, even somewhat at a distance. I'm not very happy with this, so I ended up not framing it and not giving it to my friend. And I keep this as a reminder of how to pick sizes. So this size, if you can see through the washi tape, was a 40 by 40. This would probably be better as a 50 by 50 because the butterflies had detail in them, okay? They weren't cartoony, so to speak. They had, now if this was all green and this was all blue and they didn't try to change the color palette, this would have turned out better, okay? All right. For instance, this sunflower behind me, the size that I have it in is a 40 by 50, which translate 40 centimeters by 50 centimeters, which translates, I believe, into a 16 by 20, or see, 40, yeah, a 16 by 20. And so that was the perfect size for that particular flower. It does have details towards the outside, and it has, I wanted some details in the middle. When you're up close, you see that speckle effect. Another one, this is another 40 by 50 is my sweet spot for most things. This is another one that I did. Sorry for the reflection. Maybe you'll see yourself and say, hi. Hello, I see myself. So this was something that I got from Evermoment, And as you can see, it was the roses. I knew that I was going to need some detail. I also really wanted the shine, like that silver shine on this as well. I wanted to be able to see the chair in the background, that it was actually a chair versus just green in the background. And even if you get up close, it still looks detailed, right? So 40 by 50 tends to be my sweet spot, because even with details, most pictures will come out okay if they're general, general details. Now, another thing to think about is if you are doing words, okay? So this says, "Be still and know I am God." Any words that are block letterings, you can get away with. Think of it kind of as a cartoon. You can get away with, because you don't need that the ability for those dots to create the shape you're looking for. It's just line after line. But if you are doing something like this that's more scroll related, you will definitely want to make sure that you take that into consideration when you're purchasing your sizing and you're looking at sizing. Now, this is the big mama. So this is a Chuck Penson. And he is very detailed, okay? So you've got these houses in the background. You've got, here, let's try to fold this a little bit so you can see it better. All right, so you've got, this detail of the geese that are going in, the birds that are going in. You've got purple flowers here. So this one actually is a 28 by 22 inches or a 71 by 56 centimeters. And so that's why they needed to go bigger with this, because there's no way that something this beautiful could fit into something this size when you have the same shape dot making it, right? Because these are all the same shape dot making up this picture. So, trying to fit that same shape dot, if I were trying to fit it into something that was this size, that wasn't going to happen. You would not have the detail, because there's not enough room for the detail to be created, okay? So, like over here, there's even this, like, these trucks and these tractors. It's just gorgeous. So they picked a really good size when it came to this one. Okay, So size does matter, but you need to figure out where it matters. Is this something that I can get away with, something smaller, or like cartoon-like, or less detail? Things with lace in it, you're going to want bigger. Things with detailed flowers, you're going to want bigger. Things with scrolling words, or a lot of the chalkboard print, when there's really thin lines in the lettering, you're going to want bigger. So things like that. Now, choosing between, do I go square drill or round drill? That's a preference. Do you like square or round? But it also, round can handle more detail in less room. So I've noticed that I can probably get away with a 50 by 50 and round, where I would need a 60 by 60 and square, okay? And that's because round gives you a little bit of those rounded edges. So when you're trying to make the scroll lettering, or you're trying to get some ombre effect, it's literally that round helps make that detail. So I just wanted to put that out there. And then experimenting. So I actually would experiment on some things, maybe from AliExpress, get a couple that are super cheap. One thing I have started to do is actually ask if it's an AliExpress, which, if you don't know AliExpress, it's a huge site that has multiple stores. It's kind of the China version of Amazon, so to speak, that they sell everything. So sometimes I will contact a store and say through AliExpress, the store owner, and say, hey, look, I really want this. You know, if you go into the picture you want, you can click contact store and it will open up a messenger with the picture that you want so they know exactly what you're looking at in the link. And then you can contact them and you can say, look, can you send me what this looks like in a 30 by 40 and a 40 by 50? And they will actually send you a mock-up of what that looks like. And then you can make that choice to say, I don't mind it not having as much detail, or it looks too pixelated, I'm going to go up. So, you know, you might be able to buy something for $12 instead of $20, or you might say it's worth the $20 because it's going to be beautiful. I'm going to love it much better than if I just spent the $12. Now, some stores may not. Some stores, they're stock. They're basically like a middleman. I normally don't go with those stores. If they can't give me a mock-up, I'm like, look, they probably aren't either going to be the best quality, or they probably don't have great customer service because they're a middleman. It doesn't mean they're bad. It doesn't mean their product's horrible. It just means they haven't invested in their product. They're just the middleman. Where places like Evermoment, places like Hankins, Huracan I don't know where Huracan stands anymore, but I do know at least they talk to you. There's several other stores out there that are recommended. Definitely go out and try it out. And that's what I mean by experiment. Another thing too is if there's something that you really like, you know, at Diamond Art Club or at Treasure Studio Arts or at Diamond Dots, then go and research it on YouTube, because a lot of us YouTubers have purchased those items and list the items in our tags or in our titles, and so then you can actually look. Like I have a whole thing of finishes and post reviews, and you can go look. Also, another thing too is research diamond painting post review and start to get a sense of the type of pictures that look better in a 40 by 40 or 60 by 80 or whatnot. So that's what I mean by experiment. Go out there and look. So those are my tips. Tip 1, definitely look into Googling a converter so you know what you're getting into. Tip 2, think about, are you choosing for the frame or are you choosing for the design? Either one is great. Third, how to choose your size and what to look for. Fourth, choosing square versus round. And fifth, experiment, do your research, and you're going to have a great time. So thank you so much for tuning in to another Tipsy Tuesday. Comment down below if there's any tips that you want me to cover in the future. Thumbs up if you like this so I know whether or not to do more. Until next time, be blessed, take care, hope to see you in the future. Bye-bye.